Hello, welcome to week 5, day 21 of the fall 2025 Web Development Technologies course. I'm Jim Kaufman with Rankin Technical College. So first of all, I just want to extend my congratulations to everyone. You've already completed a quarter of this course, and before you know it, you will be at the halfway mark, and then before you know it, after that, we'll be heading into the last week of the course. So time does fly, and it doesn't take long, and before you know it, you're going to be finished with this course and on to the next one. So thing I really want to point out is just keep on learning, keep growing. And most importantly, like I've said before, don't give up. Keep at it, and you will succeed. As far as the assignments this week, we're going to be doing chapters 9 and 10. Both myself, Mr. Gagelman, who takes care of the day course at the St. Louis campus, and myself are going to be, have been kind of working together on this curriculum so we're doing the same things pretty much. And so, we've kind of been going back and forth on a few things, but we decided to go ahead and kind of stick with some of the stuff. So we're going to be doing chapter 9 and 10 this week. And then from there, we're going to be moving on to some of the Bootstrap stuff. But so for this week, we got chapters 9 and 10. We got a written test for each. And we also have the labs and exercises like we've been doing. In addition to that, this homework assignment is going to be very simple. This last one in the list, the homework assignment that I'll be provide later this week. And this is basically what we're going to be doing is maybe like taking your portfolio, your web portfolio you've been working on. We're going to be using what's called GitHub pages, so we can actually make that live and you can go ahead and you'll be able to have a link to it, and you can click that link and be able to get to it. Okay. Even though it's live, don't worry if you're worried about everybody's going to come look at your page, because it's not really something that you're probably going to be able to go search for right away and find, because it kind of doesn't work with that with the Google search stuff. But it will be live, and you will have a link that you can click to get to your page. Okay, and part of it's you're going to provide me with that link that that it is, so I know that you got that completed. But we'll go ahead and I'll do a separate little video on how to make that happen later this week. So as far as what's ahead, so here real quick before that, so this week I think is a little bit of a light week for the most part. There's going to be a little bit of challenge on some of the chapter 10 stuff. Chapter 9's pretty basic, pretty simple, I think, for the most part. But if you got some extra time and if you're behind, make sure you work on catching up on any kind of assignments you're behind on this week. Because once we start moving forward, it'll kind of start getting a little more challenging again. Okay, so try to use time whenever you got available time to catch up on anything, because we'll be moving on to other things very quickly in this course. So what the week ahead here. Next week's, pretty much for the rest of the semester. So week 6, 6, and 7, we're in week 5 now. So week 6 and 7, we'll start really diving into Bootstrap. And chapter 12 is about Bootstrap, so we'll be doing that. And in addition to those assignments, we're also going to be doing some additional Bootstrap assignments, because we kind of feel that it's an important skill to have, understanding how to use Bootstrap. And so we're going to have multiple different assignments on that, and also we'll have a hands-on test on Bootstrap as well. And we'll be using the skill of Bootstrap really throughout this whole semester, even though we're going to spend some time and the other technologies as well throughout this course. Even when we start getting onto the JavaScript second half of this course, we'll still be doing some of the stuff that we've learned at the beginning of it, okay? But 6 and 7, we'll be diving a lot into Bootstrap. Here I've got for weeks 6 through 8, so sometime starting here next week, which will be week 6, I'm going to introduce you to the midterm, which the midterm is going to be converting an existing website to using the Bootstrap library. And this website is one that kind of run by the one of the other instructors, who's actually director of the information technology department, Mr. Evan Gudmanstead. Mr. Gudmanstead's got something he wants to get rewritten in Bootstrap. So we're going to have this kind of a little friendly competition between all of us in this course, and in addition to the students in the day course at downtown campus. And so you'll go ahead and use the skills that you've learned all the way up until this point for your midterm. You'll build that. And then so what we're going to do is after that, we'll go ahead and Mr. Gegelman, who's got, like I said, the St. Louis day class. Him and I will look through them, and we'll pick out some of the best ones and relay that over to Mr. Gudmanstead, and he can pick who the winner is. Okay, nothing to worry about. Nothing to, when you're getting all stressed or worried about that, we'll talk more about that when the time comes. But it's not to be stressed about or anything. We kind of want it to be fun for you guys. Be an opportunity if you really have the time and you want to be competitive. You can really go for it and see if you can get the best one. Okay, if you can build the best one. So we'll worry about that later. But I just want to go ahead and mention about that coming up. And then after that, so week 9 and beyond, we'll start really focusing on JavaScript. Even though this chapter 10 that we're doing this week will be a little bit of a JavaScript stuff, but after that, we're actually going to be switching to a different book, which is all about JavaScript. And so we'll really be doing a lot of heavy concentration on that. But as part of that second half of this course, we'll still have some HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap stuff we'll be doing as well in there, okay? Just to kind of keep those skills developing as we go through this course. Okay. So as far as the lecture today, I'm going to talk a little bit about integrating audio and video into your web pages. This should be pretty short here today. It's not a lot of new content or new skills needed here, just some new tags and so forth, but nothing's considerable. So I'll go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so here we go. As far as the introduction, the power of multimedia. So why add multimedia to your website? Well, it enhances user engagement. Videos and audio capture attention more effectively than text alone does. Information delivery. Audio provides information more quickly and effectively than reading. Memory retention. Videos are more memorable than text-based content. And then user experience creates a richer, more interactive website experience. So historical content, let me make this just a little bigger here. So in the mid-1990s, experts advised against using video on the web due to bandwidth constraints. So, and obviously even today, if you've got a kind of a slower connection, having audio and video embedded in your web pages, it's going to be slow. It might take a while for it to connect, etc. Even having older computers can kind of hamper that. And then also if you've got a slow connection. So back in the mid-1990s, connections were a lot slower. And so, a lot of times they advised against putting that straight in there. But today's high-speed internet has transformed it, okay? Mobile-first design has made responsive multimedia essential. So understanding multimedia on the web. So what is multimedia? Multimedia refers to a combination of different content forms: text, images, audio, video, interactive elements, okay? There's types of web multimedia. You have podcast, so digital audio files available for downloading or streaming. You have streaming video. Interactive media, user-controlled multimedia experiences. Embedded media, content integrated directly into the web page, right? So sometimes you can you have a click that just goes grab some podcast, right? It's not really embedded maybe in your page. The same with streaming videos, kind of like a YouTube. It's not really embedded in your page. It's playing within YouTube kind of. Whereas sometimes this embedded media is something that you generally have in your directory, right? You're going to have that content usually like in your directory, right? And we'll look at some examples on that. So considerations before adding multimedia: purpose, does it enhance your message or distract from it? Don't just add it because you can add it. Make sure that it's enhancing what other message you're trying to get across on the web page. And also, the file size can impact page loading times and everything else. Just because something works great on your machine, don't mean it's going to work on great on another's, especially for more from a perspective of their connection, right? So just because you've got a high-speed connection, not everybody does. So you always have to take that into consideration. Also, accessibility. Can users access your content? Device compatibility. Will it work on mobile devices? So some kinds of forms of audio and video can work on some devices, and some work on other devices, and there's it's not always the same, right? So you got Apple, you've got Android, you've got different browsers, you've got so different operating systems, etc. Right? So first, let's look at audio integration. So we have common audio formats: MP3. It's compressed. It's widely supported. Okay. We have what's called OGG, is an open source good quality. That's an alternative to MP3. We call it WAV, W-A-V, which is uncompressed large files. It's a lot bigger, right? So obviously, if you're bringing that in, when you've got media, and we put that in our folder, when someone clicks on that, it's going to bring that whole file into the browser, right? Doesn't run on your machine if you're accessing it from somewhere else. It's going to bring that into the browser, and then it's going to run it. So it kind of has to download that within the browser, right? So if it's uncompressed and very large, it's going to take longer, but you'll have a lot higher quality, okay? And then AAC is Apple's format. It has good compression. It's mobile optimized, okay? So understand codec. So codec is decoder is software that compresses audio and video to reduce its size. It decompresses the file for playback. Okay, so it compresses it for you to kind of send it to do what you need to do, and it decompresses the files for playback, and then it balances file size with quality. Okay. So let's look at HTML auto element here. So here is an example of audio controls, and we'll take a little more in-depth look here on that here in a minute. So here's an audio controls. This is how you do it. Well, basically it's an audio tag. Controls isn't necessary. We'll take a look at what that does when you have controls or don't have controls in there. But control shows the play, pause, volume controls. Autoplay starts playing automatically. Okay, and says use sparingly. Sometimes you may not always want to do that from the beginning. Okay, it's sometimes you don't. As a user, I know I've got to something all of a sudden starts playing something. Tell you the truth, in most cases, I don't really like that. But maybe in some cases that could be beneficial. Depends on what you're doing, right? But I know I'm sure you like most of you have kind of been searching and stuff and clicking on things, and all of a sudden something starts playing you really didn't want it to play, right? So something to keep in mind. Loop, you can also do a loop. These are different attributes of the audio tag, right? The controls, autoplay, loop, repeats the auto. Mute it will start with auto muted from the beginning, and then there's a preload controls. So controls when the audio loads. So it'll load everything first, preload before it shows anything, right? Okay, browser compatibility. So always provide multiple formats. So this will be the first format. If it finds it, if the device you're using supports this, it'll use this one. If not, it's going to go down the list to the next one. Okay. And like we looked up here, OGG alternative to MP3, right? So it's open source, good quality. So a good open source is a very good one to have there. MP3 is pretty general. So those choices right here, you have a very good chance that this is going to play for pretty much anything that you have. But it's just should always provide multiple formats. Okay. And just showing that you can have, this is for video, showing video controls, but let's wait on that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a look at a little bit of audio stuff here real quick. So here, this is actually, I think this is one of the assignments here. Will kind of be what you have when you get done with that. So over here on the right-hand side, you can see you've got some different audio ones here. Here you've got upload your photos. Might as well look at that before we even get there. Just since we're here, let's see here. So to do an upload like this with the choose file, this is how you have to do it. You have to have a form tag, and you have to have an input type equals file. Okay, and just that in itself, pretty amazing actually. That all you need is this to create this thing where it says choose file, right? Then here you can just choose file, choose one, open. Even though nothing is set up here, like it's really going to do anything, it's just showing you. It actually is kind of within your browser memory right here, but that's it, right? If you really wanted to do something, usually you have a submit button or something, submit it, and would submit it to a back-end server somewhere, right? But for our case, this is just gotten an example of how it kind of works, right? That's all we're doing here. So, and then, so the next thing is our audio. So obviously, the controls here, if I get rid of controls, as you can see, the controls are gone here, right? I'm going to put that back, and then let's do autoplay. And I have it automatically saving here within Visual Studio. So as soon as I put in this Y here, it's going to save it again, and it should start this audio right away. Okay, so that's that. Then also we have loop as well. Let's leave that there. I'll leave that there also. I'm going to put this towards the end here. Bear with me for a second, and you can see where it's looping again. So it's looping now, right? Okay, the other is muted. And once I saved it, you can see right here, it muted it, right? As opposed to these others where it's unmuted by default, but it went ahead and muted it. So you can have this where it's muted like this. And also all these kind of different controls. I know we haven't gotten into any of the JavaScript stuff, and it'll be a while till you really understand the JavaScript stuff real well. But all these kind of different controls, a lot of this stuff in HTML and so forth, even CSS can be manipulated and changed by JavaScript as well. So you can actually change things. You have it muted at the beginning, then you can unmute it, based on some other conditions. Lots of different options there, but we're not really worried about that right now. But here, that went ahead and muted it by doing that. And there's also preload. It's not really going to help me to show that because it's so quick, you're not going to really see anything happen with that. But these are kind of the basic controls. The other one, like I said, was preload, so I'll just put it in there anyhow. It's so quick because it's all local, but it might look a little different. You might see it acting a little different if it was something where, you know, it had to make a call to get it, right? If it was like on a server back end, you had to make a call. But so these are the basic ones, right? Controls, so that you have your different controls, autoplay, so it automatically plays, and loop, so you can continue to loop through it. Now, I've gone some websites, and I'm sure you have before, play a little bit of music in the background. Sometimes that's nice, right? Obviously, you don't want it too loud, but, you know, they have that. And just have it in a loop. They have it autoplay in a loop, right? And then also, we looked at mute it, and then there's also preload as well. And then the source, here's your source, obviously. Your source is, so here, it's wherever, this is in a media file on the thing. Directory, right? A media file directory on the thing, and these are the ones I believe are for your assignment as well. So you'll be seeing those. And then always it's a good idea to have this so that if it doesn't file one that's supported, it should say your browser does not support the audio element. Okay, if for some reason you don't, there are ways. I haven't done it in a while in the browser. Browsers change so much, but there's settings here so that you could like disable audio and stuff like that, which you don't really want to do, but you can. And if you do some things like that, you'll end up getting this message because it's not supported, right? Because it's basically, you've got it kind of turned off, so to speak. So, all right. So pretty simple here on audio. Also, you know, your source can be an external source from your machine itself, right? From your directory structure, I shouldn't say machine, but from your directory structure. These things here are all within your own directory structure. That doesn't mean you could have a third party. You could be calling it from somewhere else, right? So you'd have a fully qualified URL here of wherever it is, right? So, all right. All right, I think we'll go ahead and take a look at videos now. So some common video formats. MP4 is most widely supported, has excellent browser support. WebM is Google's open format. It's considered good, works both in Chrome and Firefox. And OGV is the open source. It has limited browser support. So here's a basic HTML video element. Using the video element. So all of the kind of the attributes are similar to what, you know, pretty much more than similar, almost the exact same ones as we do for the audio as well. We do have kind of this width and height controls over there for that. Okay. So let's go ahead and go take a quick look at that. Okay. So obviously this is our video tag here, and the video tag, it's basically it's looking at it as the container of the video content. It controls and there's different controls. So obviously you got your controls there. Attribute adds the standard video controls like play, pause, volume, seek bar to the player. And then the poster, if you got a poster, the poster will adds an image file. So in this case, it's an image file. So on the right-hand side, this is the image. Okay. This is this image right here. You just kind of look at this. So there it is. So it's using this until it starts, right? It's using this until it starts. And then we also have the other attributes as well, like autoplay. So let's go ahead. Maybe put it up here.
Responsive web design provides an optimum viewing experience for desktop, tablet, and mobile devices.
If I make it muted here. I guess we'll just do autoplay so we can see it start. So start, it's muted. You can see it's muted here by default. And then we also have loop, right? Let's get rid of auto. Let's get rid of muted.
Responsive web design provides an optimum viewing experience.
I'll make sure it loops.
Responsive web design.
Oh, I got more than two running.
Begin by creating a wireframe for each.
Sorry about that. It's kind of.
Larger viewports begin by creating a wireframe for each.
I have two instances of it running.
For mobile viewports.
Okay, now we only got one. So, just showing you. I wanted to show you the looping. So it went all the way back to the beginning there. Width's obviously good to use here. If you don't use width, it's going to be monster size, probably, depending. Not too bad, actually. Not too bad. It's not very responsive, actually, for smaller screen sizes, but that's okay. But not a lot here. Like I said, it wasn't going to take long to get through this chapter. A lot of the video and audio attributes are very similar to each other. Let's see what else is in this thing. Pretty much went through that. Making videos accessible. Many jurisdictions require accessibility content. Especially when we're talking about government websites and so forth. Inclusive design ensures all users can access your content. Better search engine optimization. Search engines can index caption content. So basically by, setting it up the right way, it helps. For responsive websites, this is a good way. Okay. Max width 100% and do height auto, so that way it's more responsive. I don't think I have a caption on mine. I'm sorry, yes I do. So, yep, so here's a caption. Let's go take a look at it. I don't know if you ever noticed this. If you're ever in here and you've got linked to something, you can always hit your control key, right there, control key and click, and it'll go to this. Okay. So this can be used, screen readers and stuff can read through that. Okay, it's very helpful for things like that, for accessibility reasons. Okay, so that's about all I have today. Please let me know if you have any questions. It's all about audio and video this week. Not a lot, it's kind of a short thing. We're not going to be spending a lot of time on it. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.